Hello, everyone. Welcome back from break. Today, we've got our game two with Puneet Sharma against Austin Shin. If you guys are watching this, you are currently on Austin's Twitch channel right now. I hope you've already subscribed and liked. Well, can you like on a Twitch? Probably not. Anyway, so Puneet is one of my favorite people on this planet. He's so great and so fun to play with. I have met him like a few times, hung out with him a few times. He's just a lot of fun. And Austin, he and his family run this Crescent City Cup. Just so lovely to have them here and just have this great opportunity to play and meet our friends. NOLA is such a great place to be. I don't know if you guys have ever been. This is just my third time. And I'm joined here by my co commentator, Matt Canik, who's also been to Crescent City Cup many, many times. Matt, how many times has it been for you now?
I can't even count, and that's the most fun part. I have no idea, but I know non-negotiably I will be here every year until they stop running the thing. And if they stop running it, maybe I'll run it in their place. I don't know. This is such a gem of a tournament. You should come every year. If you're not here this year, come next year.
It's always a great time. We're up late, we're hanging out, we're playing Scrabble all late in hours into the night. And no matter how much Scrabble we play, we never love to see, oh my God, those incredibly horrible letters in our rack. I think Puneet just has to exchange like 6 or 7 here. Like he has to either exchange all of his tiles or hang on to that C and exchange everything else. This is horrific. Okay, he's going with exchange all. Good for him.
Put me on
Wow.
stream against Austin Shin and then give me that first rack. I'm just flying home now. I'm
That's
good.
horrific. That's just like you never want to see that rack. Good God, what do you even do? Okay. On to Austin. I mean, he's got an easier choice in front of him. He can just do like foin, which is what he's got set up in front of him, or maybe something like info. I mean, I don't know, Matt. Would you cash in that S here? Would you try to do finos or infos or foins for 24 points instead of info or foin for 14 points? Do you want that extra 10 points for that S?
The only point or only time you should put an S on the star on the first turn is if you're doubling a JQ, X, or Z. That S on the star is so dangerous. You can bingo to it. You can bingo from it really frequently as well. It's you're just asking to get hurt if you do that. You should absolutely never make a play like foins out of an opening rack like this when foin or if or info are also available. And Austin won't do that. He likes to score points now a little bit more and later a little bit less. But even a player with that tendency should never play foin. It's foins with the S in this situation.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's a really great analysis. So thanks for that breakdown. I think something like info or final or foin would be so nice to just see. I think Austin really has to just get his tiles on the board. He's already identified the tiles he wants to put there. Uh, unless he does if. Okay.
Yeah,
That's kind of cool.
that was the real decision this turn. Do you play info or do you just play if? And a sim has him neck and neck. Now, you know Puneet's rack is completely random. He didn't even change 6. He changed the full 7. So you can't expect him to be in bingo range too frequently. And yet a bingo is what Puneet's found out of the bag. Rainier now plays in 3 spots. IF takes the front R, or you can do it with 2 stacks, AI and IF. Think you stack it here. The stacking play is 3 more than either of the riff options. You take the points, right, Nits?
I think so too. And you know what? It's interesting that he's drawn this bingo out of the bag. I think someone did the math on this. It's about like 1 out of 7 you kind of draw into a bingo in your opening rack. So I think that's what the likelihood of that is. I could be wrong.
That's close,
Somebody,
yeah.
yeah.
Very close. Uh,
Oh, good for him though. Rainier comes down. He gets the 68 points. Let's move on. It's on to Austin, and he's got a fun little Q with that U word. And I think he's going to spot that pretty much instantly. This it requires Austin to see the front hook to Rainier. And I'm sure you guys have already seen this in the chat, but I think that's going to be his best play here.
yeah, Niqab and Brainier is the no-brainer option. Pun not intended, but it happened anyway. I'm sorry. But the extra nice thing about Niqab and Brainier is you hold an S and you set up that back S hook. You can play a 6-letter, a 5-letter word ending in an S and hit Niqab's next turn for 40 or 42. Must find this play, must make it.
That's a really good point. I wonder if instead he's going to play Niqabs for the eye, the second eye of Rainier, because I mean, that's 34 points, and I think it's a slightly worse play, but it can be hard to see Rainier. Like, it can be hard to sometimes see front hooks. I don't know. Do you think he's likely to just put down QI for 11 instead, or? Are
No,
we hoping to see Niqab? Or like, are we likely to see Niqab? I mean, this is Austin Shin of all people.
this is Austin Shin. He's going to get the turn right. He pretty uniformly does that almost all the time when I watch him. I'm surprised that he hasn't played it yet. Sometimes those EULA's Q words can make you blind. And I mean, Niqab, you either see it immediately or you whiff it. He hasn't played it yet.
You
Is he
know
going to
what?
miss it?
You have a point. Because, like, when I see B and Q, I'm thinking, okay, maybe I'm going to have burqa and I don't have that. I've missed niqab quite a few times. It's a little hard to see. You see QIN together, you're automatically thinking, okay, can I play QIN? Can I play QI? So sometimes it can be hard to take yourself out of that mindset. But I'm sure that Austin, as he spends more time on this, I really hope that he's going to have that eureka moment and be like, oh, wow, I do have niqab on my rack. Because I'd love to see that for Austin.
Yeah, yeah, great point. Oh man,
He really needs to see that brainier hook though. That'd be cool to see.
he's got to see the brainier hook. I think he just missed the word niqab, and if you miss the word niqab, you literally don't have anything except QI for 11 on this turn.
That would be so horrible to see. I really
Oh
don't
my
want him to
god.
have to end up playing that unless he plays something like Oba, but there's no way he's going to do that. There's just no way Austin Shin, of all people, who is, one of the most incredible players in the world, mind you, he's going to play a word that doesn't have a Q in this right now.
What if we see niqab through the I in Rainier, but just niqab, setting up the
Oh,
S? That might be what the pause on this turn is, but we in the overhead booth get to see Puneet's rack. We know Puneet's also got one. I'm saying it really quiet because I don't want my voice to carry into the playing room. That might be what he's thinking about, but he might be blowing or just whiffing the word niqab entirely. I don't know. This is puzzling to see
rough.
Austin take this much
This is
time.
rough. And if you guys have trouble sometimes finding, these JQXE words, I know it can be hard if you haven't seen them in a while. There are, ways to study them. Like StudyCade on twitch.tv right now, for example, has a 24/7 stream of JQXE words. Oh wow. So QI for 11. That is tough. Huge, huge, huge. Well, actually not huge, huge miss, I'd say, because it seems pretty up there. It's like it's not the worst, but damn, Niqab was really, really the play here.
Uh,
Really interesting to see this.
That was a mistake, a huge blunder if Austin missed on his bingo pull, but he found an S in the bag. There were not many tiles that would give him a 7 into that ABINOS sleeve. C, G, L, S, T, or U. The only ways Austin hits, but perhaps a galaxy brain move or perhaps an error that leads to a great draw for him. Austin's going to bingo next turn. We'll focus back on Puneet. He leads 68-21 after the IF to QI opening for Austin. This is going to be a fun turn for him to watch. He gets to show off some intermediate word knowledge here. ADPHLSU. Engines jumping out the tough to spot PURDAH through the front R in Rainier making diff. That's 20. It sets up an S. That looks all right, but we might see him try to get rid of some of these bad tiles. Puha, Puha, plays making AR for 19. How do you feel, Nits? What are you thinking here?
Well, I like that you brought up Barda because it's a veil. It's an Urdu word. Could also be thought of as a Hindi word. I think Puneet is likely to see that just because it's a very common word in Urdu and Hindi, which is a language that Puneet speaks fluently. I think like that's one of the advantages that you get when you play Scrabble with multiple languages under your belt, that you get to find some of these words more easily or they stick in your head better. The other the other side to this is that you play words that are not words all the time. So if you study French and Latin or Greek or anything like that, there's a very strong chance you'll end up playing words that are words in the language that you study, but are not in this dictionary, which can sometimes feel a little arbitrary. I think where that would be great to see, but I think Sulf making IFS. Sulf would be really nice. SULPH is a word. That would be 22 points. It would keep AD. It's just about as good as Bertha, I think.
Man, there's a lot of solid options here for Puneet, and it's really more a question of how much time do you want to commit to this move versus how much do you just want to make an option that looks all right and move on. Man, you have a great point about those Urdu words and just anybody who has a background in a second language because it feels so frustratingly arbitrary which of those words do and don't make it in. And especially when you can define it in your own head and then you can't play it in Scrabble, it's tough. That one's hard to pull the trigger on.
Absolutely. And we see that Puneet has put SH to the side. I like that he's putting that down for 30 points. That's also a really good play here. 30 points is nothing to sneeze at. I mean, maybe he doesn't want to keep that U, but whatever. 30 points is 30 points. He wants that.
Points are always a good option. I feel like more often on stream we watch players forego points and then just never draw the bingo that they thought they were going to draw and then lose the game because of it. So sometimes just putting the points on the board right now, even if the leave is not what you want, just bank them, put them in the bank, and maybe you'll have so many that your opponent can't catch up. So a reasonable option from Puneet and Austin now. 5 playable bingos, just 2 sevens in this rack, but a bunch of places to play them. I think he'll take his highest scoring option, but that gives back a lot. Maybe he'll cash in the brainier hook. I don't know. This is tough.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you really have to calculate, okay, is it going to score, is my bingo going to score more with IFS or is it going to score more with Brainier? Because once you see Brainier, oh my gosh, it makes you feel so brainy that you kind of just want to play it. Like if you see Brainier, I don't know if you're always going to do the mental math to calculate all 5 of your bingos. Be like, okay, how many points did they differ by? I think, he sees bonsais, which is fantastic. I believe it's an addition to
Yes,
the
correct.
2024 dictionary. So great for Austin for having spotted that. He's going to put bonsais down for 71 points. I say, points are points. It's not the 74 points that he would have gotten with Bastions under Brainier, sorry, under If, but points are points.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so Puneet has a 7 letter bingo in this rack. It's not what he's got set up right now, but this looks like one of those racks where I know I've seen it before and I probably typed the wrong thing in. It plays as a 6 overlap right now next to Bonsai's
Oh
for
my
87
God.
points. He's also got an 80 pointer through the R in Brainier, but it looks like first we saw a hold and then a frustrated release from Puneet there. It's 5 point challenge. If that's a new word, just challenge it, but whatever. Puneet's got the 6 overlap, Poundal, for 87. Big
Wow.
turn here for Puneet. Can he flex on the stream?
There's a strong chance that he might. Puneet is he's a beautifully, beautifully strong player. He sees Pauldron. I mean, last year, was it last year? No, wow. The years go by so fast. In 2023, when he was in Vegas, he did so incredibly well. I think in the last chance qualifier it was. And it's really lovely to see him on stream playing. He gets to play quite regularly with people on the West Coast. I think that he's just a really great player with immense word knowledge. And I think maybe even if he doesn't see the 6 overlaps to the side of Bonsai's, Pauldron is such a great find. It's 80 points. You definitely want that under your belt.
Oh man, we'll see. Is it going to be 87? Is it going to be 80? There's also a double double available for 40, a non bingo double double through the A and Bonsai's. Huge turn here for Puneet. And I don't really have much to contribute. I just pause and wait and hold my breath and see what he does.
So I actually wonder if once you see bonsais come down on the board, and if you do see Poundal, which I don't know if Puneet has or hasn't seen, we haven't seen it telegraphed on his rack. If you're even like looking for those 6 tile overlaps, it really, I mean, it takes quite a bit of patience. It takes quite a bit of, iterations to, oh my God, just as I was saying that. Okay, so he
Okay,
sees it.
okay.
Please tell me he has spotted the 6 tile overlap. This is incredible.
It
This
just
is why you take the time.
it just looks like it doesn't play on this board. It looks like there's no real opportunity. I start looking for 8s. Oh my God, Puneet, are you going to see it? Are you going to see it? Look, Puneet, I want to see the 6 overlap.
Yeah, wow, that would be so fun to see him that. The chat has pointed out that there is a back hook to Poundals. A Poundal, it takes an S. There is an S unseen. So there is a chance that could be a little dangerous, but God, it would be so beautiful to see this word come down. And even if it doesn't, we know that Puneet has seen his word pauldron. He had it lined up on his rack. He knows that it plays on the board. I love that he's doing his due diligence. I love that he's looking for, where does the 7 play? Let me not just like hit the trigger on an 80-point play just now.
when you get to the experience level of Puneet, or especially in Austin, sometimes you just have this sense like I've seen Pauldron, but I feel like I can do better this turn, and you don't know what it is. It's hard to quantify, but you can see Puneet shaking his head here, like Pauldron, is that the best I can do? Maybe he's not sure Poundle is the correct solution to this anagram, and he's seen the overlap. 5 point challenge with Pauldron in tow. Maybe he's just not quite confident enough to pull the trigger here. It's
Oh.
hard to know what's going on in the booth. We just speculate.
That's a good point. I mean, now that you bring it up, we don't know what our players think is a valid word because I mean, sometimes you type in a word wrongly enough into your study tool and you kind of memorize a phony and then it becomes slightly harder to remember. Oh my God, it's coming down, it's coming down.
Come on, Puneet. Do it, do it, do it, do
This
it.
is Scrabble Christmas.
Oh,
All of
no,
you guys
no,
are
no. Nits,
no,
you said it too fast.
I
You said it
jinxed
too
him.
fast. Christmas is
Wow.
canceled.
Christmas is canceled. Wait, but he saw Pauldron. I'm really surprised that he's playing Pound.
It is so hard to play on stream. It is
It
so
is
hard to
really
play
hard
on
to play.
stream, and you question everything that you knew 100% in stone even 5 minutes
I
before you sat down at the
yes.
table. Oh man. Okay,
Wow, what a
that's a swing.
turn. Wow, win
You
for 80
cast
points.
your first commentator hex, Nits. There's plenty more of these to come. You got to learn these lessons in the booth.
I didn't realize that the swamp ghosts were listening. I didn't realize that that was on me. Wow. Okay, so now it's on Austin to, he's got another power tile right there. He's just got to find a good place to play it off. Wow, this is just, I mean, wow. Would you like to see him play something like Oryx through the R in Brainier? I think that's a pretty cool play. I mean, or, unless he holds on to that X for some other reason. I mean, I don't know. What do you think?
I think you set up the X here. OARY and SHY sets up the X in a really devastating way. And even if that spot gets taken with an overlap, now you have a triple word. Now you're still going to score 50 with the X. So it's
Nice.
crazy to score just 16 now, but you can't cash in the X in a great way. Oryx is only 31 and holds AEIO without floating consonants. Ori would be really cool.
That's an incredible
OARY. We'll
find.
see if Austin can galaxy brain here. If anyone in this room is capable of it, it's him.
Absolutely. That was a really good find. I think that'd be such a great setup to see and for him to cash in if he can. Like that would be interesting. Just playing on stream is, as you mentioned already, it is incredibly difficult. It takes you out of your mind a little bit. You're not just playing for yourself, you're kind of playing with this notion in the back of your mind that, oh, people are watching and my mistakes are being telegraphed. And I really hope that everyone who's watching knows that playing at a computer level is nigh impossible. And we aren't expecting players to be, like 100% accurate every single time because players are not computers. They're just going to do their best and it is such a great opportunity to get them to get to see them play at all. I mean, Matt, you'd mentioned earlier that we see a lot more streaming now. We see a lot more Scrabble content now. I think that's lovely. I think that it's such a great, opening for the world of Scrabble that we can bring in so many more people watching games and it can be frustrating to see mistakes, but I think it's really important to remember that yeah, we're not perfect and even though we want them to be, even though we want our players to be.
And for those of you who tear down players in chat, I know who you are, and I am waiting for your opportunity to be on stream because it is hard, and it's not hard until you get there, and then, oh boy. So be nice to everybody playing on stream all the time, or else I
and
won't
we
hold back the punches.
and we kind of didn't get a chance to talk much about Paneet because he just played this so quickly and good on him. I think Vault would have been slightly better than Vought, but it's important that he's got the V and the U out. So good on him for getting straight to that, not wasting any time.
I got so distracted on my sidetrack, whatever, but Austin did go with the big baller X setup. He didn't do OARY. He did something slightly different, but I like that too. Get rid of an extra vowel, increase the odds that my opponent plays elsewhere, and hold not one but two O's. You can play OX and set up EXO next turn for yourself. Galaxy brain moment from Austin Shin. I want to make sure he gets credit for that play because that was wonderful.
Absolutely. Kept that O for the I overlap. Love to see it. He's got Gox for 58 points. That is incredible. That's almost like a bingo.
Oh,
And
Puneet's got an 8 or a 9.
oh my gosh.
Puneet's got a 9. I don't think it's the best play, but Puneet's got a 9. Go chat. Figure it out.
Oh my God.
All right, I won't say anything else.
Okay. All right. Okay. So we're going to sit in suspense until we find another possible word. that could play here. And I think any human in this situation might see that V in the triple lane and might play Volk, VOLK, possibly for 33 points. What are you thinking, Matt? You are on the edge of your seat. Please tell me.
Well, Austin just renovate through the V, so this turns even huger if Puneet actually finds the tough to spot, hard to pull the trigger on 9, that he's going to get absolutely pulverized. Okay, Puneet's other
Wow.
two non-bingo options are VOLK, as you said, or Koala, Koala, through that A. Both of those are going to knock out Renovate, but if Puneet plays anywhere else, or if he finds the 9 in the bottom left side of this board, whoa, Renovate is going to be a big swing in
Oh my
Austin's
gosh.
direction.
That would be incredible to see. Wow. I mean, this game has been pretty neck and neck so far, give or take. And this was, I mean, this would really turn the tide. It's really up to Panit now to just kind of, yeah, to kind of decide his destiny. He sees, if he sees the 9, like what an immediate victory for the moment, right? And then your opponent comes back with Renovate. And I mean, I don't know how long that ecstasy, of having found a 9 is going to last, because it's a pretty cool, pretty fancy 9.
The 9 is Molluskin, Molluskan. That's an impossible, like, Dave Wiegand is the only player in this room who finds, maybe Noah Walton finds it in this room, but that'd be sick. It's not going to happen. That'd be so sick. Scrabble gives us all these wonderful possibilities all the time.
Oh wow. Okay, Beneath. Okay, I'm trying to see what he's telegraphing to us. I mean, maybe he's looking for a bingo right now. Uh, maybe he's identified a different play. Maybe, I mean, I'm hoping for his sake that it's through the V, or it's like it's going to obstruct the V somehow. Um, what do you think, Matt? What do you think he's doing here?
He set up KOLL, and I don't even know if that's a word in Collins or if it plays any. No, it's not even a word. So I don't know
Yeah.
what he's planning to do with that, but looks like Volk is coming down. Oh, it looks like we
Oh,
lost a Cam over the board again. Christian Andrew, please do your thing. Get us a refresh there. But that's got to be Volk if
that's
he
got to
sets
be
down
Volt.
OLK.
Yeah.
And Austin makes sad Scrabble noises as his triple triple was blocked. But not sad Scrabble noises, really, because he's still very much in this game after the big X bomb. 167 for Austin, 188 for Puneet now. AEENORT looks very bingo prone for Austin, and yet no playable bingos for him this turn. Curious to see how many of these letters he plays. AENRT is a great leave. It makes tons of sense to fish off an OE if you can, but you also want to score points. SHYER extends for 33. Are you willing to break up a solid nucleus and just keep the atone leave to score 33 here,
I
Nits?
was just gonna bring that up. I was just gonna be like, "Hey, listen, Matt, what do you do here?" Because
Ugh.
you get these low point tiles, and you really want to take advantage of them. You want to make sure that you're gonna bingo, but you come to face with your triple triple being blocked, and damn, like I think maybe something like note to the side of, Gox makes a lot of sense, making Ion and Exo. I mean, it would explain why, Austin kept the two O's, knowing that even if he plays EX and IO, he still got another O to overlap. I mean, that would kind of work there. And I mean, maybe naturally you're just going to go straight for note. I don't know how much I'm thinking about Shire at this point, because so here's the thing, right? Like, we happen to vilify fishing quite a bit sometimes. We have a tendency to tell newer players that, okay, don't waste all your turns fishing for a bingo. You could just be scoring a lot, in which case we start having to think about what is better equity here. So what is a better move here in terms of how many points am I scoring and the value of the tiles that are still left over. So I think Shire is a really great play because it's 33 points. I think, keeping a tone is such a good leave. But if Austin ends up doing something like Noter or Note, I see that as a perfectly valid play. Shire is just an incredible find, though. I think that's a really good play.
Points is my my input there. Just take the points. Austin took the points. This is a solid play, and he is ahead by 12. Let's see. He wants to dodge vowels. A C and an E. He's got acetone. He'll be in okay shape. I don't see a playable bingo right now, but we'll go back up. Puneet WU on his draw.
Oof.
ADLNWUD blank.
Hate to see it. Hate to see it on your rack, and you hate to see that you don't have a playable bingo, which I think Puneet has now figured out. Though, of course, when you see an R coming down on the board, you're hoping, hey, do I have something from that? Is there anything that I've got? But these tiles look just gross enough that I think instinctively you kind of feel, yeah, I just need to get rid of the WU. So, what do you think about something like wood making Yupo and Dawn? This is to the side of pound.
If you could play wood, you probably should. I will make that joke 1,000 times on stream, and somebody will give me a pity chuckle every time. But actually, in this case, wood for 18. Like, I'm surprised it wasn't played yesterday, especially with Puneet down to 12 minutes. Unlaw is another option, UNLAW, if you're looking to turn over a few more of these tiles. And maybe there's a compelling reason too. I see a ton of ease left in the bag. I don't mind digging a little bit and taking an extra point or 3 points more with Unlaw. Both of those are good options, but I like making the joke. If you could play wood, you probably should. I would have said it as soon as Austin hit his clock and dropped wood here.
I think Panit's just going to end up doing it, but he's also looking at, yeah, I think he's getting to unlaw now for 21 points that keeps the D and the blank. I think that's a perfectly fine decision to make. It's about as good as wood. I think wood would be slightly better. But Dawn, if you think about Dawn in that same spot, making APO1 and news, now that would be interesting, keeping that U, because you never instinctively choose to do that, right? Like you never instinctively want to keep the U, the L with the blank. Like, it looks kind of gross. But, Dawn is 24 points. That's six more points than would. And at some point you got to start calculating, okay, do I want to take the points? Like, is this worth it?
Don't keep the U. Last year, there was a game where a player kept a U when he didn't need to, and then he didn't bingo for 6 turns and sat on it, and we made fun of him the whole stream. So I think keeping a U is cursed. I'm playing it here. If you got a WU, you probably want to play both of them. 6 points. I just don't think Dawn is quite strong enough. I'd play Wood or maybe Unlaw.
I think wood would be nice. Just I feel like Dawn is just slightly stronger than Unlaw, just because it's scoring those three more points, which can be important. But I really hope to see Wood come down. The clocks were somewhat equal, but Puneet's, I mean, his turn is really dwindling. He really wants to go ahead and play that, hit the clock, move on. It's hard to pull the trigger on an 18-point move, though, especially at this level of the game. You want to score 25, 30, well, hopefully 90, 100 points. And it's just like, it's just sad to come to terms with the fact that you're going to play something for 18.
Huge swing here. Acetone now plays, but it opens an A in a triple triple line. Puneet's draw is huge. What is he going to threaten through the exposed tile? He's
Oh,
found well,
wow.
but that second L is going to be lethal enough. He will not be able to triple triple on this turn, but bingos for Austin will be hit by a bingo from Puneet almost certainly next turn. If you're Puneet, you really want to take away the A in space. There is just one bingo that does it for him here. He'll be put to the test under a little bit of time pressure as well. How long does he spend looking for a triple triple? Can he find the bingo that utilizes that A in space? Another big test here for Puneet.
Well, he has seen Alan Knight. I think he's
That's it.
getting to, yeah, I think he's getting to putting it on his, or feel like he was putting it together on his rack. But yeah, you're right. It's gonna be hard to pull the trigger on it when you think that there could very possibly be a triple triple here. You really don't want to go on stream and then miss a triple triple and then, go back to the stream or go back to the comments and have people say, "Oh, you missed this. How could you have missed it?" It's I think being on stream really adds another dimension to the game. I know some players feel like it doesn't bother them much at all, but I I really think that there's a strong possibility that once you're on stream, the way that you think about the game changes. I think the way that you approach the game, whether you take risks, whether you don't take risks, really does change. So, I mean, I wonder if seeing these players like in this context adds this like element to our analysis, because I really do think as players and as people, it depends how they respond to the game. So here, I mean, obviously, I would love to see Allenite come down, but I also think you're right. He's gonna spend some time looking for that triple triple. I hope he doesn't spend too much time though, because Austin played acetone so quickly, and there's a chance that he's gonna play quickly again. He's identified IE. I'd really like Puneet to have ample amount of time for the end game.
Yeah, I would like that too. But I also love the scramble that happens when players get low on time. Austin can play so incredibly fast when he chooses to as well. He's just so lethal like that. If Puneet falls into time trouble and this game ends close, that's a huge advantage to Austin.
Right.
But I like the drama. I like when people get low on clocks. I like Puneet too. I hope he wins the game, but I hope Austin wins the game. It's hard when you like everybody.
Oh man, you would love playing against me. I'm always low on time. I don't know about
Ooh.
you guys, but like once I start thinking, it's really hard to stop. I used to be a youth player and I used to play so fast, and everyone was always like, "Hey, what are you doing? Like you should play slower and you should think more." And then I was like, "No." But then I got older. And yeah, so this is where I'm at now.
I think the older I get, the faster I get, but that's just because I get bored. Puneet has one other fun option I'll just spit out there. I mean, he's not going to see it, and it's not actually a good play, but he can play a 9 through the AI. And if he were down like 200 points or something, I think that's actually the play to make. So you in chat, if you want to find the fun 9 through AI, do that, and then tell me why it's fun.
That would be such a content play.
It would.
That would be a great content play.
Yeah,
All
Alex
right.
C. Holm finding it immediately. Tailplane is the word, and that would end one short of that triple word square with an unseen S, unseen blank. All of the volatility would be made possible. But if you're Puneet, you have to play Alanite here, and God, you really gotta go. You're running out of time. You spent 2 minutes on wood before you played wood, and now it's hurting, Puneet. Come on.
I know, but like, I mean, look at those tiles. They're low
It's
point
tough.
tiles. Like you've got that A out in space. You really think there's a chance. So I think what he's doing with this clipboard right now is he's iterating. He's going through the tiles that, like the letter that the blank could be, and like trying to see, okay, have I seen this alphagram before? Have I seen these tiles before in this order? And does it make a word? And I think that's what he's going to keep doing until he comes to the realization that no, there's nothing there. But the problem is that there's 26 letters. So there's 26 things that blank could be. We know that there is no triple triple there. But Paneet, I think he's really gonna, oh wow, he's really gonna take this time. That triple triple lane is both a blessing and a curse, and right now it's becoming more of a curse for him.
I mean, the only other way I could think to respond is just open a second one with the blank in tow, but there's not a way to do that without. I guess you can use ST and play TEL for like no points at all, but that's uh that's just a content play. That's not a good play. Looking back at Puneet's moves, every single one of them except that first turn has been hard. That first turn, he drew 7 horrible consonants, C, C, D, F, L, V, W. He threw it back. Every turn since then has required a lot of mental energy for Puneet, and you never really know how to budget that time. You might get 3 easy turns in a row at the end of the game, or you might get 7 consecutive hard turns, as we've seen from Puneet. Welcome to
Right.
NOLA, buddy. Hope you didn't stay out too late last night.
Oof, this is tough. I mean, sometimes this is just the way that the cookie crumbles. Like you can hope for easy games on stream. You can hope that you get the kind of racks where it's very easy to know what to do with. But these are tough. Like Benny's really like going through it right now. But I hope that this is just him putting netball down for 72 points. It's two fewer points than Alanite, but you know what? It keeps the threat of that A open, and at least he's scored 72 points. He's back in the game. He's neck and neck with Austin.
Yeah, all right. So netball, the option from Puneet here. We have a 2 point game. Puneet 278, Austin 276. Austin post bingo draw of 5 vowels, a Y, and a blank. But the play of netball gives him, I think, 2 good plays here. The 5 letter AIYEE, as Austin had set up since last turn, now drops obviously on a triple word for 29 points. OYE or AYE also play for 28 points using that top triple word square and kind of just knocking everything out. Both of those are good plays. So I'm curious to see. There's kind of a new school of thought in Scrabble that vowels are not as bad as we used to think, and stuff like AEI blank is actually really good. There's also the older school thought that vowels are pretty bad and you should play them. And so I'm curious, very curious to see how a very strong player like Austin approaches this, IE or OI. What do you think, Nits?
That's a really good question because I mean, Austin, as we'd seen, had set across IE to the side. He had been looking at it and he was going to play it pretty much instantly before netball came down. And now he has two spots for IE. But now he's looking at OYE, OI. Something has changed in his thought about what he should play, what threat he should address. I think OI is a really good play here. If he does end up playing IE, nothing wrong with it. You do really want to get those vowels off of your rack. You want to keep moving. Um, And you're right. Yes, we do have a more recent school of thought about like how AIE blank is not a terrible leave. You're absolutely right there. But, if he sees IE, maybe stylistically or strategically, he feels like this is what he needs to do. And, go for it, sir.
I thought that was just a chat being chat and recommending a funny 7 letter word on Puneet's rack, but that's actually a word. Oh my goodness.
That's
Okay.
incredible.
I love Collins. Oh my goodness. Puneet has biatches, Biaches. Hopefully we're not kicked off Twitch for me saying that. That's just the word on his rack. It doesn't play right now, but uh,
I believe he might be eyeing beach through that same A. So if he switches out the E of beach with an I, he's able to play biatch, which is a great play here. It would be 45 points. It would get rid of that B, and the CH are nice, but he's not bingoing and he wants those points. He wants to keep up. He wants to keep the scoring pressure on. So I think what's imperative here, though, is that he doesn't take up more time than he already has because he's really running low. He needs to just go ahead and play something.
and yet this looks like it could bingo, and if it does bingo, it's going to bingo for a gazillion points, and you're on stream, and everybody's going to make fun of you for this afterwards. Okay, maybe not that last part. We're nice, but it's a huge turn, and you really love to bingo here if you could. Oh my goodness, this is getting tough for Puneet. But yes, I like that he is just making a play. He's not playing Biach. The Collins only 5. Instead, Beach. But with 3 more E's to draw, that's pretty defensible.
Right.
And again, just hitting your clock and making Austin's time go is the most important part of that turn. So good job, Puneet.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I absolutely agree. And Austin's got a pretty easy move here for himself. He can just play jog. He can play that making ONO and GEN. He's already got that lined up to the side. I think if Austin wants to, get to Puneet and he wants to put him into time pressure right now would be a great time to put that on the board and just keep moving and make this as difficult for Puneet as possible because that's another element of this game where you have to manage your time, you have to manage your clock, and you can induce mistakes in your opponent by just playing slightly faster. I mean, maybe it's not always the best option. Maybe sometimes you yourself make more mistakes the faster you play. But here, I think, I mean, strategically, Austin really just needs to get jog down and he needs to make this difficult for Puneet.
Yeah, I mean, when your opponent is in a time crunch, you're now also in a time crunch. And I mean, there are 2 very strong plays. Austin is looking at JIFF through the IF. That's a nice play. GOPT is not the best leave, but that opens up a completely new quadrant on the board in a game where I'm down by a little bit, but I've got the blank and have the advantage there. Jiff is a really good play. Jog is a really good play, but making Puneet's clock run is, I think, the most important part here. You're going to draw some stuff. There's still plenty of Scrabble to go. A big turn, but is it more important that you get this turn exactly correct, or is it more important that you get this turn over with and make Puneet freak out again? Because Puneet
Absolutely.
gets to think on his time now. Or on my time now. I want Puneet thinking on his time.
Exactly, exactly. And I think if Jog does not come down, then Puneet's going to have a very easy play of Saws or Saz, making Stew and OB, making ZA. That's going to be
Hmm.
nice and easy for him. He's going to score like a bajillion. That's going to be a bingo score. He's going to be fine to move on, and Puneet can save on some of his time. So, okay, Jif comes down, and this is good news for Puneet. He's going to put Saws down, hopefully immediately.
Yeah, that's also an insta play. I mean, the only hard part is counting that high because it's so many points and you got so many things to count. But yeah, SOZ for 57. Puneet needs to do this yesterday.
All right,
And
Puneet, let's see this go down. I mean, maybe he's still identifying other spots on the board where this would, like, where the Z would hit hard. I think something like Zamia underneath Volk, Zamia, making OM. Okay, all right. So he's playing Zoa there. Interesting. I think he's prioritizing that bingo leaf. He's prioritizing that S. Do you know? I mean, is there something? Is there like a great S spot on this
GIFs,
board? Like, I mean,
GIFs.
like a bingo there doesn't score that much. I mean, he's drawn
Oh,
into a
what a
baby bingo, which
draw.
is
Nice
great.
draw.
Good for him. But like, I mean, I wonder if it's worth prioritizing keeping that S when Saws is giving so many points.
Oh my goodness. And he accidentally blocked Austin's bingo. If he had played Saws, Austin would hit back with post grad, and instead Austin has no bingos. Austin can score 48 this turn, cashing in the blank, and I'll say nothing more for now. Chat, have fun. I don't know that he's going to, but he could. Oh man, I don't know who's going to win this game. Puneet had such a good draw. I think it's strong advantage him, but never count out Austin.
Absolutely. Especially now that Puneet's got a pretty easy place to play a bingo, it would make sense that he's going to be in the game. He's not going to, hopefully, he's not going to take up too much of his time. And as we get into the pre end game and the end game, maybe Puneet's still going to be able to, you know, like masterfully get himself out of this. I would hate to see Puneet kind of just not have enough time to think through an end game when the game right now seems to be so close that the end game might end up mattering quite a lot.
If I'm Austin here, I think I'd play Prague and ALP for 19. This is starting to feel desperate. Zoa makes me feel like he's keeping pretty well. That doesn't feel like a forced play too often. I think I'm going to have to assume that I'm at a disadvantage and I need to open some stuff and just hope I get lucky. I might play Prague and Alp, open a line, and pray I draw a bingo that starts with an S to win the game. What do you think, Nits?
Interesting. You know, that's a really good point. I love, wow, you called it. I mean, I wonder if he's thinking that there's no way Puneet could have an S and he would have had to draw it because if he had the S, he would have played SOZ. You know, I wonder if that's why.
Sorry, Puneet's got to play Smarty right now. Anyway, go ahead.
Right. So because I mean, so now Prague takes the back S. So maybe Austin is hoping that Puneet doesn't or didn't have the S, and that would explain, like so he can infer that Saws would have come down otherwise. But Smarty is going to be 94 points. That needs to come down immediately. Good for Puneet. Just like keep it moving.
Why are you counting the play? Like, just play Smarty as fast as you can. Nothing could possibly score more on this board. Are you thinking about playing it with GIFs instead? Are you worried about emptying the bag?
Maybe
Puneet, you have 2 minutes. Go.
maybe he's thinking about maybe he's thinking about but there's still there's still 19 unseen tiles, I think.
Precisely. So go.
Right. So like it makes no sense to account for the end game yet. All right. Good for him. He's got his play down. That is exactly what he needed to do. And now Austin can come back with his own bingo pretty much immediately, I think.
Yeah, Austin's drawn into studying, and he's going to put it down. Maybe. I think you just blitz play it here and hope Puneet blunders an in game in a time crunch. But Austin is trailing by 104. When you're trailing by that much late, sometimes you feel like I must actually bingo out to win. If I play studying for 74, it's your turn.
Oh.
It's just not going to be enough. But maybe he's thinking spread. With Puneet in a time crunch, it is possible. With some unwieldy tiles in the bag, he messes this one up. But there's a good mix of vowels and consonants. There's nothing too bad. Even VGMW, I think, is going to lead to enough points for Puneet. I think studying is just 100% lose, but I don't know that not bingoing here is going to yield anything that could score better.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if there's any merit to unedited. I mean, I don't know. I mean, what is Austin really doing? Yeah, I mean, you're right. He needs to bingo twice. I mean, Puneet is really far up ahead now. Oh, maybe he did like DID to the
Yes.
side of acetone, making nod, and maybe he hopes to draw. Maybe he hopes to bingo out. Like maybe he hopes to catch Puneet with maybe the W, maybe the V, maybe the M. This is tough.
My gut says if this weren't Coco, I would forego a bingo here, play did, and just pray for an absolute miracle. But because this is Coco and spread actually matters for your rating at the end of things, it's kind of more the spirit of the game and the way they play with that organization. I would just play the bingo and lose. So
I mean, this is a tough time. So we see Austin putting his hand in the bag. What he's doing is he's counting to see how many tiles are left. There are, as we know, 5 tiles in the bag. So he's trying to figure out, okay, so if I play the bingo, I draw 5 tiles and Puneet gets to play, then I get to play. And like what are the chances that I can catch Puneet with enough on his rack that I would be able to win this game? And I don't know if there's a strong chance that he can do that. Like Puneet's definitely going to get rid of the M, the W. If he has the V or the W, he would try to get rid of that immediately. So I don't know if Austin has the chance to catch Puneet with a lot of points on his rack here.
Yeah, I just if the unseen pool were a little more unbalanced, if it were possible that there's 7 vowels on Puneet's rack or 7 horrific consonants is really the best case scenario,
Right.
then maybe I could conceivably bingo out, catch him with VVWJ on his rack. That's not this pool. This pool is there's a V and a G and a W, but Puneet's guaranteed one more play. He's not going to eat all of that unless in a time induced error, maybe he actually does and just does something inexplicably stupid. But I think Austin's done. I think Punita, his huge draw into AIMST after the Zoa play, that was the difference in this game. And I think we're going to see Austin Shin get knocked down to one-on-one on his own stream.
Wow. I mean, tough game. I don't know if I would call it just yet. I mean, it just kind of depends on how Puneet would respond. I mean, I feel like okay, so he sees Worm. So Puneet has seen Worm. Maybe he would be maybe he'd play that above Smarty, maybe, but maybe he's seen. Oh, do you think he sees Eelworm? EELWORM from the E in Shire. That's 28 points. That'd be incredible. Um, if studding goes down, which is the bingo that Austin has, then I believe it wouldn't play. But wouldn't that be awesome? I really don't know. I mean, are you really supposed to play did here? Is that your only chance of winning, or are you just supposed to just bingo and hope and just cross your fingers and hope that the tile gods are nice to you?
If there were an unseen S, then I think studding actually has some paths to victory. You can draw that S and play studdings the next turn and maybe hit a big play. I don't see how did wins without a lot of help from your opponent. And
Right,
I mean, Punit is low on time. Maybe you do get that help from your opponent, but uh, I don't know. I think
right.
I'm not seeing any reasonable path to victory here for Austin. It's just a matter of what kind of Hail Mary he wants to throw or if he wants to throw one at all.
And like kudos to Austin for having enough time on his clock to be able to do this thought process now because I mean as we saw Puneet was really struggling with his time and now Austin is able to, use the time that he has collated. He can, think through this. I think there's a chance that he's about to come down with studying.
Yeah, you just eventually you're gonna throw in the towel, I think, here and play studding. The longer Austin sits here, the more I think he's gonna come to that conclusion. I still think on this turn I would have played studding in 1 second and just made Puneet's clock run and hoped that in the scramble maybe something good comes of it. But when you do rush any decision in Scrabble, perhaps there was that path, and maybe there still is that path, and we're just not seeing it in the booth. I don't know, but kudos to Austin. You've got 25 minutes. Use the 25 minutes. Find every percentage point you can, even if it's increasing from a 0 to a 0.5.
It's kind of incredible to me that Puneet, with like the tough moves that he had to play through, and with the time pressure that he had to play through, is now so so likely to win. All he has to do is play off WEM somewhere, like MEW somewhere, get rid of those high scoring tiles, and then he's fine, But I believe, okay, so as far as I understand right now, the players have stopped their clocks. They're recounting their scores. They're just making sure that there's no discrepancy. The scores that we have here in the annotation booth and in the commentary booth may not resemble the ones that the players have agreed to themselves. The official scores are the ones that the players agree to and submit together. So we don't actually know what the players think that their score is. It could be correct, it could be slightly off. And I'm glad that they're taking this time to just make sure they're on the same page. So it's back to Austin. I think he's about to play studying. Okay, there we go. He plays studying. And Puneet is home free. He can just go ahead and play off MW. He can play WEM to the side of acetone for 30 points, and he's good to go. He's not about to struggle here.
Yeah, pretty much any valid play here wins for Puneet, and yet we have even seen at the Crescent City Cup any valid play wins, and we've seen players lose games from that situation. So Puneet does have to do one final step. I nearly blew a game in this situation in the lobby of the hotel yesterday. I almost played ZETE because I didn't look hard enough at my play.
Oh
Um,
no.
but then right before I hit the clock, I noticed and I did not do it. So any valid play wins for Puneet.
Oh my gosh, I was
Finish
at
the job.
club on Tuesday and there was a word on the board and the P was a blank and I played instead of playing PI, I played PF because I shifted my word up just like one. Terrible, terrible mistake. Definitely something that cost me a game that I could have won.
I did it on day 5 of a nationals, and that's the reason I'm never playing nationals again. Any valid play wins, and I made an invalid play, and I'm never going to play a
I've
major again.
done that before. Oh my gosh. Any valid play wins and you just play an invalid. Yeah, I've done that before. Terrible. And the chat has spotted Austin's outplay of Rivage. Is this
Yeah,
French?
could be.
It
I don't
could
know.
be. And Austin will be able to find this. He's already set it up on his rack. He's going to play this. And the final score is going to be only a 40-point difference, an exact 40-point difference. Puneet is going to end up with 479, and Austin will have 439 points if he plays Rush now.
What a sick game. What a sick game. I mean, so many big pivotal moments where you and I both held our breath. I'm curious, we're going to cut to overhead mic when we can, but I'm curious, did Otten just whiff on Niqab? Or did he calculate? Did he actually think that playing the cue would bingo often enough? Did he have some kind of read or beat? So we'll cut to that overhead mic right away and hear lots of pivotal turns on this one.
How much did you say for Ivan?
12. 479, 439. Yeah, okay. Yep, nice.
Like this, something. I wasted a lot of time trying to find the triple.
Oh, what do you have?
NETALL count to the A. I don't know.
Wait, so what did you have? What did you leave?
Oh no, the triple. When I played this netball.
Oh,
to the A.
right. Okay. Oh, I see.
So the pairings they have online, is that correct?
Is there anything?
I saw Elena.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure I played pretty badly. Yeah, chicken out of Poundle.
Of what? Oh, Poundle. Okay. AL.
Yeah, and Paul Drawn. I saw both Paul Drawn and Poundle. I'm sure I'll get a lot of SHIT.
Oh boy.
Yeah, good luck. Sure. I need to. I chicken out of 2 words.
Lock it, triple, and bingo at the end. So works out.
All right, so we're cutting away from the overhead mic as Puneet, I guess, hears about that game. I'm getting word from production team that Puneet is going to come over to the production booth for a little interview. So stay tuned there. We'll give you a little Puneet, let him gloat about the big win over Austin Shin. I'll take you through that. And round 3, I'm hearing, is going to be a sick one. Dave Wiegand versus Joel Wapnick. That's awesome. That's
Oh
a
my
lot of
gosh.
firepower.
That's watching two giants butt heads. I think that's gonna be a fun time. Until then, we're gonna replace one brown person with another. The start of a very racist joke. But I hope you guys don't miss me very much. I will be back before you know it, and you get to hear from Puneet.
Yeah, we'll let Nits stretch her legs, and I will make some bad jokes while we get Puneet escorted on out here. 479 to 439, a victory over Austin Shin. Has to feel great for Puneet, and that's one that he'll celebrate down on Bourbon Street tonight. Again, this is the Crescent City Cup, the best Scrabble tournament of the year. It is brought to you from New Orleans, Louisiana. It is directed by Lindsay and Lila Crotty, as well as the great Kate Fukawa Connolly. And we'll have Puneet sit down next to me. You can grab that headset and put the mic on your left side, Puneet. Cutting over to video now, but wow, absolute banger of a game. Lots of dramatic moments, and knocking off Austin Shin has to feel pretty good. Yeah, Puneet?
Yeah, well, his scoring usually never stops, but I got lucky in
You
that game, I think.
still scored 439. The scoring was immense
Yeah.
in that game, but you outscored him. Tell us what you thought was maybe the coolest position or the toughest position in that game.
Well, I feel like I chickened out when I played Pound. I saw Poundel and Paul Drawn, and
Yep. You saw them both. We saw you set up Pauldron,
yeah,
and then we saw you set up Poundall, and then you pulled back. They're both good.
yeah. I was
But
like, I'm pretty sure I'm making a mistake here, but I was a little bit ahead, and I didn't want to, play a phony, really.
yeah, against Austin Shin, you know that he'll know the answer to that. That was a big dramatic swing, but it still worked out for you. And then did Kate tell you about this turn here on Volk?
No, I'm not sure.
He was sitting on Renovate as a
Oh, wow.
natural triple for a million points. So that was a huge block, another pivotal swing. I don't think he had many other good plays on that turn, but massive game. So you did see Poundal and you backed out. You did see Pauldron and you backed out. That's
Yeah.
tough. That's tough. But the stream jitters are very real. You were certain on netball, right?
Yeah.
That was nice. That was a nice play.
I figured, I thought that, I saw Analyte, or Alanite, sorry, and I was like, I'm not sure of that either. But I was sure of netball, so I was like, let me just play what I'm sure. Anyway, I wasted a lot of time on that rack trying to see if I could find a triple, but those, one tile racks with the double L's are a little bit challenging for me, at least. What about the play when I played SH? Was that I also spent a lot of time on that, and I couldn't. I wanted to block that E. I don't know if wasting my S at that point for 30 points was right or not, but
I mean, I'm not smart enough to tell you the answer to that for sure, but I mean, it's a lot more points than anything else you have. If you're sure of this, it might be a good option. PURDAH, but I mean, it is a tough turn and grabbing points right now, especially in the absence of other S hooks. At least I give it a thumbs up. I thought it was fine. It's tough to do, but it worked out.
yeah.
Yeah, a solid game from you, Puneet. Tell us what's your favorite thing about this New Orleans tournament is. I know you've played it a bunch of times.
Yeah, this may be either my ninth or 10th time. To me, the favorite thing is obviously seeing all the people. I feel like, you're starting a new year, and I'm always very excited about this tournament because I get to see a lot of my friends who I haven't probably seen for a few months. And it's New Orleans, right? Like, it's great food. It's great time out in the French Quarter, or um, we were at Felix's last night having some really nice oysters. So yeah, I just love coming here, and I think it's maybe my ninth or 10th time, and I'll keep coming as long as I can. Yeah. For
So
sure.
to our viewers who are not in New Orleans, what do you have to say to them about coming to New Orleans next year, perhaps?
You should be here. I mean, it's one of my favorite cities in the U.S. The food is amazing. The people here, the organizers here. I know, Kate and Tim have been doing this for a while, and Leela and Austin and Lindsay, and they put on a great tournament. So I've always had great fun here. So yeah, make the time. Please join us next time.
Please join us next time, indeed. But thank you for joining us on the chat in the interim. We're going to do just a brief little intermission, I think, and then round 3, Dave Wiegand and Joel Wapnick coming up next. Thanks, Puneet, for your time, and congrats on the big win.